Have you ever really explored the Jarl residences in Skyrim? Ever wondered just how comfortable and safe they actually are? Well, I decided to take a deep dive into every single Jarl residence to see if they live like true rulers or if their halls are more questionable. A Jarl's residence should be more than just a fancy house, right? It's a symbol of authority and power. It should be fortified to protect against bandits, rival factions, or even dragons. Location is key, and a good residence needs to balance luxury, warmth, and comfort for both the Jarl and the people living there. So here are the key questions I'll be answering as we explore each residence. Does it show wealth and power, or is it simpler? Can the residence be easily defended during an attack? How many guards are there? Is the layout practical? Is the residence filled with warm fire pits? Are the private areas comfortable? Of course, I'll be checking a few other things, but these are the main points. Let's start with Dragon's Reach, perched in Whiterun. Dragon's Reach has a solid defense with stone walls surrounding both the city and the building itself. The whole city sits on a hill and Dragon's Reach is at the very top, making it a real challenge to reach. Any potential enemies would have to trash through the entire city and then climb a bunch of stairs. Definitely not like Morthal, where attackers can come at you from any side, but we'll get into that later. Dragon's Reach is massive and the dragon carvings are just stunning. You can feel the power even before you step inside, so let's check out the interior. The moment I walk in, it's obvious this place is built to impress. It's spacious, warm, and filled with light. There are massive tables, a welcoming fire pit, and the throne is perfectly positioned at the highest point of the main hall. And the dragon head hanging above the Jarl is pretty epic, right? On the left side, oh, just to clarify, when I say left or right, I mean from the perspective of standing at the entrance of the area we're in. So, on the left side, we've got a big, well-lit kitchen. I love how herbs, fish, and rabbits hang from wooden bars. No one's going hungry here, that's for sure. Heading down to the lower levels, we find some beds and storage rooms. It looks like the chef lives here, conveniently close to both the kitchen and supplies. By the way, did you know there is a mysterious door located here? This is the Whispering Door and it's tied to a Daedric quest. Inside, you'll find a book and the Ebony Blade, Mephalah's Daedric artifact. Just a heads up, the Whispering Door quest only becomes available when your character hits level 20 or higher and you need to have completed Dragon Rising first. To get started, grab some rumors from Hulda, the barkeep at the Bannered Mare in Whiterun, and then ask the Jarl about his kids. Feel free to correct me if I'm wrong. Anyway, back to the basement. Here's where things get interesting. Take a look at this door. It's labeled Jarl's Quarters. Wait, we're in the basement, so how's that possible? Behind the door, there is another huge space, probably for relaxing. There's also a pantry and two small bedrooms. They're not exactly luxurious, but it's nice to see the servants got some privacy instead of a giant shared room. Another door leads to stairs going to a somewhat strange bedroom. It's not exactly private though. You can get in from both the basement and the hallway that leads to the Jarl's actual bedroom. Interesting layout, right? But for now, let's head back to the main hall. We'll check out the space here later. On the right side, there is a spacious area with an alchemy lab and enchanting table. Perfect for the court wizard. Two smaller rooms hold a library and a cozy bedroom, likely for the wizard himself. His room's pretty comfy with a much nicer bed compared to the basement rooms and a large window that lets in plenty of light. I was about to head upstairs, but let's not forget there's another basement, the prison. It's pretty big with 4 cells. The beds aren't too comfy for sure, but it's a prison after all. The cells are quite spacious. There is also a space for guards to relax and eat, and a bedroom with 4 beds, likely for them. You can even get into the prison from the outside, which gives Dragon's Reach an extra entrance. Might be a little security flaw, right? Attackers can get into the residence from 2 different ways. There is also a way to escape through a hallway under the cells that leads straight to the guard barracks. Sure, enemies could use it to sneak in, but let's be real. Who'd want to risk going through the guard barracks? Now, let's go upstairs from the main hall to the War Council chamber. The place looks spacious, but look at this bed. Who made someone so miserable and decided to put it here? It's as uncomfortable as a prison bed, and let's not even talk about privacy. From here, you can access 2 beautiful balconies overlooking the main hall. There are also 2 doors, one leading to the Jarl's quarters. Yep, the same room we saw earlier. But first, let's check out the rest of the building. Behind the War Council table, we step outside to a huge open space with a breathtaking view. Imagine eating here. Must be quite the experience. It's also where they used to catch dragons, with space for archery and weapon practice. The fresh air is a bonus, and since the space is covered, you can even practice when it's raining. At night, the area stays well lit with candles and fires. Almost forgot to mention that here are some balconies, just like in the main hall. Now, let's check out the Jarl's quarters. We've already taken a peek at this space twice, but it's time to really explore. As we head upstairs, we find 3 doors. The one on the left leads to a lovely bedroom with a comfy bed, table and shelves. On the other side, there is a kids' room. It's nice, but oddly enough, 2 beds aren't any better than those in the basement. Is the Jarl trying to teach the kids a lesson or something? It's weird that one bed here looks so much better. Finally, we reach the Jarl's bedroom, which has 3 sections. A sleeping area with a large decorated bed and plenty of wardrobes, a dining area with a big table, probably for private meals or meetings, and a work area, maybe for planning and decision making. The whole space is massive and comfortable, but it could use a fireplace to make it cozier. The bedroom also has a door leading to a grand balcony, where the Jarl can overlook the entire city and the fields around Whiterun. So is the layout practical? I'd say yes. From the main hall, the Jarl has easy access to the War Council room and the alchemy lab. If he's hungry, he can just head to the tables in front of him. Sure, there are a lot of stairs to his bedroom, but that adds some privacy. It can also be nice during an attack, as the Jarl can retreat to his bedroom and enemies won't have an easy way to find him. The kitchen is conveniently close to the main hall, so it's easy to serve food. Down in the basement, the workers have rooms and the pantry is nearby, which makes sense. If someone needs to bring food to the Jarl's bedroom, there's a shortcut through the basement. Pretty practical, right? How about the defense? It's solid, but there are 2 entrances, one in the main hall and the other in the prison. But fortunately, the Jarl should have enough time to retreat upstairs to his high-positioned bedroom if needed. As for guards, it's tricky to count them all. There are few standing in the same spots and others move around at different times. There's one by the front door, 2 on either side of the Jarl, and I saw 2 more on the porch, one patrolling, the other practicing archery. Later, I came here at a different hour and I didn't see any guards. So, it looks like there might be more or fewer, depending on the time of day. Upstairs, in the Jarl's quarters, there are 3 more guards on duty. Oh, and in the prison, there are another 3. All in all, Dragon's Reach is well protected. The main downside is that there aren't any guard barracks inside Dragon's Reach. It would definitely boost security if the guards could sleep nearby. Having a prison could also be a security risk, especially since prisoners are given a lockpick. That means there's always a chance of an escape through the residence or even an attack on the Jarl at night. The basement path from the kitchen to the Jarl's quarters might be a slight flaw, as it's another way to access the Jarl's bedroom from the main hall. This means attackers can force their way in through 2 routes. It would definitely be easier to defend just one passage. So, to sum it all up, the interior is very warm and inviting, and I particularly love the fire pit in the center. You can definitely feel the sense of authority here, with the grand stairs in the main hall and the massive tables. The layout features a kitchen, a War Council area, and a designated space for a wizard with his lab, making it very functional. The Jarl's quarters are very private and comfortable, though perhaps not the kids' room. Dragon's Reach has strong defenses outside and decent ones inside. There's a decent number of guards, but it might benefit from having guard barracks connected to Dragon's Reach. The prison might be useful for quick interrogations, but it also creates a security risk. Plus, with 2 entrances to Dragon's Reach, it feels a bit more vulnerable to attacks. Our next destination is Mistvale Keep in Riften. Let's start with the outside. The design is really interesting. At first glance, you can tell the defenses are solid. There's a sturdy stone wall surrounding the residence, with just one entry point. The building itself is made of stone and sits high up, which gives it a commanding presence. Plus, there's a nice yard for practicing weapon skills and a chill spot to relax. The main hall is huge and a bit dark, which makes it feel cold and kinda gloomy. The fire pit in the center is pretty small, so I'm not sure it does enough to keep things warm. The Jarl sits on a throne that's slightly elevated, which really adds to the air of authority in the room. I do love that huge table in the center, piled high with food. To the left, there's a decent-sized room that serves as an alchemist's space, complete with an alchemy lab, an enchanting table, and a bed. It's nice to have an alchemist so close by. You never know when you might need a potion or even a poison for an enemy, especially in a place like Riften. Behind the Jarl, there is a hallway. Going to the right leads to a super cozy and comfortable bedroom. On the left, there is an area that looks like it's meant for war discussions, complete with a massive map and a table piled with food. From there, you can head to another nice bedroom with a not so comfy bed but some space for weapon practice, or you can check out the barracks, which is a roomy spot with a fire pit for cooking. Is this kitchen used to prepare food for both the barracks and the Jarl's keep? Probably. There is also a floor above with more sleeping and eating space, plus a door leading to a balcony. Let's head back to the main building. The Jarl's quarters are upstairs and the door is locked. That adds some security and privacy since it's a totally separate area. You'll find 3 cozy bedrooms, each with a comfy vibe. The Jarl's bedroom, of course, is the standout. It's huge with a fireplace that makes it feel really warm and inviting. There is even a little pantry and a door to a private balcony that offers a beautiful view. What about the prison? It's actually a building connected by a wall to Mistvale Keep, but you have to go outside to get there. It's pretty spacious and has a fireplace. There are 2 floors of cells and they actually look very comfortable for prison cells. Tables, food, nice beds. Look at this one here, with its comfy bed, great food, and even a wardrobe. The servants in Whiterun don't have rooms this nice. Overall, I think the design of the keep is very practical. The Jarl can easily head upstairs to the bedroom and the guards have quick access to the main hall. Speaking of security, there are 4 guards inside. 1 at the entrance, 2 behind the Jarl, and 1 patrolling the private area. Plus, the barracks can accommodate 10 beds, so there is no shortage of security here. There are 2 entrances to Mistvale Keep, the main one and 1 through the barracks, but both are well guarded, especially the one through the barracks, which you can find in the training yard outside. To be honest, there is not much wrong here. It's spacious, well secured, comfortable, impressive, and made of stone. The layout includes an alchemy space and a war council area, and it's very practical. The fireplaces are a nice touch, and the security inside and outside is amazing. The barracks are connected to it, boosting security, and the prison is nearby, but without a direct door to the residence, it feels safer compared to Dragon's Reach. The downside for me is the heavy atmosphere. I prefer brighter, warmer spaces, but that's just my personal taste. It could benefit from a nice kitchen, as it currently looks like meals can only be prepared in the barracks. Plus, it has 2 entrances, which could be seen as a small flaw similar to Dragon's Reach. Probably the biggest security flaw is that it's in Riften, so you never know who might slip some poison into your meal. Next up is Mortal's Haimon Hall. It's simple, wooden, and fits right into the rustic feel of the town. Personally, I really like that style. But when you think about it as the residence of a Jarl, well, let's just say it's got some serious flaws. For one, the building is made of wood and the roof is thatched with hay, which sounds like a disaster waiting to happen. A single spark and poof, there goes the entire stronghold. And the defense? Don't even get me started. There's no fence, no walls, nothing to keep out unwanted visitors. It's not even built on a higher ground, which you'd expect for a place as important as this. Anyone can just walk right up to the front door. There's a path leading straight to the residence, practically inviting enemies in. And let's not forget the bridge, another easy access point. At first, I thought being backed by a mountain might offer some natural protection, but not necessarily. What if enemies follow the mountain, stand on the edge, and start using flaming arrows or spells? Oh, and what about the river nearby? That got me thinking, could someone sneak in by boat? After checking it out, one path leads straight to a waterfall, so no one's coming from that direction. The other path dries up a bit, so no boat access there either. So at least there's that small victory. The defense is really bad, like really bad. But inside, it's kind of interesting. The open fire pit and spacious layout give it a welcoming feel. But honestly, it's super simple. The throne is placed low, which makes it feel less like a seat of power and more like, well, just a chair. There aren't many decorations or tables filled with food, definitely not giving off that royal banquet vibe. On the left side, there's a space for gatherings and maybe war councils. But here's the catch. It doubles as a bedroom. Yeah, you can have your battle plans and then just roll into bed. The room also looks like it's used for training with weapons, so I guess it's a multifunctional space. Who needs separation between war strategy, sleeping and sword practice? Then there's the Jarl's bedroom. Quite cozy, but it's dark. I used a torch to brighten it up. No windows, just some candles, adding a bit of light and atmosphere. There is no privacy here either. You can walk straight in from the main hall. It would have made so much more sense to put this room in a completely separate part of the building, don't you think? Upstairs on the left there's a small space with a table and a tiny room. It's got potions and alchemical ingredients, which makes sense. Who knows when the Jarl might need some quick medicine, right? But then there is this weird window with bars. It feels kind of like a prison cell. Plus, with those bars instead of a solid wall, there is even less privacy. People can probably hear everything going on more easily. On the other side, it's basically the same setup. Smaller room, and this one is even more open near the roof. So again, lack of privacy. The layout overall is practical in terms of distances. Everything's close so you can easily move around. But defensively, it's a disaster. The Jarl doesn't have many options to escape during an attack, except for retreating into the bedroom, and that's only protected by one door. I couldn't even find any guards, which is worrying. It turns out there's one near the entrance, but only during the day, and that's definitely not enough. And where is the kitchen? Is the food brought in from the outside? That's not practical or safe. If there were a town invasion, the Jarl's servants could block the main entrance to protect him. But without food supplies and a kitchen, they wouldn't last long. And what about having guard barracks connected to the residence to boost security? So, to sum it all up, it has a nice, simple appearance that complements the overall style of the town. The layout includes a war council space, an area for weapon training, and a fire pit in the center. The layout is pretty practical, as I mentioned earlier. The lack of a prison connected to the residence is probably a good thing here, considering the number of guards, which is 0 at night. The defense is terrible inside and out. The rooms are small, lack privacy, and aren't comfortable either. Plus, there is no kitchen, no guard barracks, and you don't really feel that strong sense of authority here. Honestly, it's just a bit too simple for a Jarl's residence. What do you think? Would you want to live here if you were in charge of Mortal, or does this place need a serious upgrade? Now, let's check out the Palace of the Kings in Windhelm. And wow, right from the start, you can tell this place is a fortress. It's a massive stone block that almost screams, "Don't mess with us." The front is surrounded by towering stone walls with only 2 small entrances, so getting anywhere near the main door is no easy task. In the back, there is a steep mountain, but unlike Mortal, it can't be used for a surprise attack. It's high, steep, and there is no way to gather an army up there. Let's head inside. The first thing that strikes me is how impressive it looks. A long table filled with food, plenty of candles lighting the room. But wait, where is the fire pit? With Windhelm being as cold as it is, I'd expect to see maybe even 2. Look at the throne. It's no ordinary chair, but a massive stone structure complete with stairs. On the right side, we've got a hallway leading to a cozy kitchen with both a fireplace and a small fire pit for cooking meals in a pot. It's warm and inviting, a nice contrast to the chill outside. Up on the right side, there is also access to the barracks. The sleeping area is huge, but not exactly private. There are only 4 beds, all taken, with more guards walking around. Do they take turns sleeping? Share beds? It's cold in Windhelm, and I doubt they wash often in these temperatures. So that might be a real issue for the guards living here. Downstairs we've got the prison. Now we're talking. This is a real prison. 4 cells, no table, no chair, not even a bed. Just hay underground with some animal leather thrown on top. If you're planning on running a business, Windhelm is definitely not the best place. I'd recommend Riften instead. Back in the main hall, we can head to an upstairs area that features a private space with a fireplace and a dining area for meals. There are 3 bedrooms, all quite spacious. The first room has 2 not so comfy beds, but also a fireplace, which is awesome. The next room has 4 beds and another fireplace. The last one, though, has 2 beds and no fireplace. I feel bad for whoever's stuck there, but I get why people might share rooms. More bodies more warmth, right? At the end of the hallway, there is the wizard's room, complete with an alchemy lab and an enchanting table. It's a nice private space. Now, if we head to the left side from the main hall, there's a large, well-lit room for War Council meetings. From here, we can go upstairs to another bedroom area. 4 rooms, each with one big bed and a fireplace. They're not the most comfortable beds, but at least the rooms offer some privacy. At the very end of the hallway, there's a staircase leading to the Jarl's bedroom. It's not as big as the one in Whiterun, but it's cozy, with a comfy bed and a fireplace. So, is the layout practical? Definitely. The kitchen is close to the main hall, and the War Council room is also conveniently nearby. Sure, the bedrooms are a bit far, but it's not any worse than Whiterun. If you want privacy, your room's gotta be a little more out of the way than in Mortal's Haimon Hall. And what about security? This place is a fortress with just one way in, and even getting to the front door is tough. The barracks are connected to the main hall, so guards can defend the entrance quickly. When I checked, I counted 15 guards, 2 at the entrance, 7 in the barracks, 2 in the prison, 2 in the first bedroom section, and 2 patrolling the hallways near the Jarl's bedroom. In summary, the Palace of the Kings is well protected, spacious, and built like a fortress. It features impressive defenses both outside and inside. The layout offers plenty of privacy for the residents, and while the beds may not be luxurious, everything else from the design to the security is top-notch. The layout is quite practical. There is a War Council space as well as an alchemy area with the wizard, which includes both enchanting and alchemy tables. Additionally, there are barracks enhancing security along with a substantial number of guards inside. The prison should be fine here, as I don't think anyone would be able to escape through the barracks first. The palace also includes a kitchen and a numerous fireplaces. Sure, the main hall might feel a bit chilly, but it exudes authority. While the decor is minimal and leans towards a rugged style, it perfectly matches Windham's cold, harsh vibe. Now, let's move on to the White Hall in Dawnstar. It's very similar to Mortal's Haimon Hall, so I briefly go over it. It shares the same defense issues as Haimon Hall, but it faces an additional problem. Large ships can launch attacks directly from the water. At least the Jarl's residence sits above the regular houses, offering some elevation. Inside, the layout is identical, featuring 2 round fire pits instead of 1. A nice addition is the wizard's area with the enchanting table, which doubles as a gathering space for war councils. The bedrooms maintain a similar style to those in Mortal. Next up is the Jarl's Longhouse in Winterhold. It shares the same design and issues as other similar halls, but here there's even a path behind the residence that enemies can use for surprise attacks. On the bright side, I really like the mammoth skull above the door. It's a striking detail. Inside, there are more skulls that add unique character to the place. They make me feel a bit nostalgic, reminding me of the Siberia game series. Have you ever played it? One more residence with the same design is the one in Falkreath. At least this one's a bit more protected since the town has 2 stone entrances with guards. There's a bit of palisade and mountains that act like a wall, making it harder to just walk right into town. Plus, no way to attack from the water. It isn't much, but hey, it's better than nothing. Inside, you can see some nice deer skulls that fit well with the forest vibe. Again, there's a multifunctional room with a bed, a war council area, and a space for training. Additionally, on the next floor, there's an enchanting table, but unfortunately, there is no alchemy table. Next on the list is Understone Keep in Markarth. This residence has a completely different look compared to the others. It's tucked into the mountainside with just the front entrance visible, perched high up on a rocky ledge. So yeah, it's definitely well protected. Good luck trying to cause any damage to this place from the outside. The only way to reach it is by climbing a series of narrow stairs through the city, which would definitely slow down any attackers. Interestingly, there is no stone wall in front, but honestly, it doesn't seem like it needs one. The entrance itself is already pretty hard to reach. Inside, the vibe shifts completely. The keep is underground, making it dark and gloomy, with dirt and ruins scattered around the entrance. No welcoming fire pit here, just a cold, shadowy space. Unlike other residences, there is no grand main hall with long tables and a throne surrounded by food. You have to walk a long way up many stairs to finally find the Jarl sitting high above everything else. The space is huge and you can really feel the ancient history here, especially with all the dwarven machinery lying around. Let's explore a bit more. On the left side, there's a massive kitchen with a lovely fireplace for cooking meals. I actually like the setup here, with racks for drying meat and herbs. but it's a bit sad to see one bed and two bedrolls in the corner. Probably for servants, but hey, it's a palace. Shouldn't they at least have proper beds? I started wondering where the Jarl even eats, but after checking the door next to the kitchen, it was locked of course, I found a huge, cozy bedroom with a fireplace for cooking, a big comfortable bed and a table filled with food. The whole room feels warm and inviting. On the right side of the Understone Keep, we have a forge and a blacksmith, which is awesome. It's the only residence with its own forge. There are also a couple of beds and space to practice swordplay. Heading further into this area, there are two more bedrooms. It's interesting that both have cooking spots. Do all the people living here cook their own meals or what? A bit higher up, there is a war council room with a bed. There's even a ventilation grill. What a detail. I actually found more different grills around the place too. Back to the entrance now, and on the right side, there's a huge locked door. Naturally, that's not an issue. It says Dwemer Museum, so let's check it out. It's seriously impressive. There's so much to see. Display cases filled with weapons and armor, while the dwarven automatons stand on their own. On the left side, there's a small section closed off by a gate, but nothing too exciting inside. On the right, there is another gated off section with a trap that can be activated by a button on the floor. Looks like a storage room. If you go straight ahead, you'll reach Calselmo's laboratory. It's a large open space with a smaller room and two bedrooms. They both feel pretty cozy thanks to the fireplaces, but I especially like the bigger one with its unique design. I also found two doors that require keys to open, so there are still some mysteries left here. Let's head back to the main keep and check out the left side. This area is more of a laboratory with alchemy and enchanting stations and a few wizards. From here you can access more dwarven ruins and caves which are filled with spiders. Calselmo actually gives a quest to defeat the spiders and hands you the key to the museum. After dealing with the spiders, you can go even deeper into more interesting ruins where Falmer lurk. But let's leave all that ruin exploration for another time. There's one more place we can check out. From the laboratory area, we can also access the Hall of the Dead, where the deceased are laid to rest. Interestingly, there is also a door here that leads out to Markarth, meaning Understone Keep actually has two entrances. So is the layout of Understone Keep practical? Not really. The distances between everything are huge. There is no main room with a throne and lots of tables filled with food and fire pits like in other residences, so the Jarl has to leave his throne completely just to grab something to eat. The War Council room is also quite far away. How about security? It's decent on the outside since it's hard to reach, but there are some flaws inside. If the Jarl needs to escape, he can't just retreat to his bedroom. He has to go down several stairs first, which could be a problem as it takes time. And since the keep connects to ruins filled with spiders and Falmer, there's always the chance of an inside attack. There are also no guard barracks here, which usually add extra security. No prison either, as the prison in Markarth is actually Sidna Mine, where you mine silver to pay off your debts. But it's a safer option than having a prison connected to the residence. As for the guards, I counted 11. 2 at the entrance, 2 near the Jarl, 1 in the private section, 1 by the entrance to the museum, 3 inside the museum, 1 in Calselmo's laboratory, and 1 patrolling the area where Calselmo works. So not bad. In summary, the residence is impressive and spacious with a decent number of guards on duty. I found few fireplaces, which is a nice touch, and it's the only Jarl's residence with a forge. It features a nice kitchen and a war council space. There is no prison connected to the residence, which is actually a plus as there are many prisoners at Sidna Mine and no way to interrogate them inside since there are no cells. The bedrooms offer quite a bit of privacy, and placing the residence underground makes it easy to defend against outside attackers. However, the keep feels cold and can be downright depressing to live in. It's not the most comfortable place either. Only the Jarl's bedroom feels cozy, at least to me. There are no guard barracks inside and the layout isn't particularly practical. In my opinion, it's not the safest place for a Jarl to reside, especially with spiders and Falmer lurking inside. Oh, and there are 2 entrances to Understone Keep, which could be a weak spot. And finally, we have the Blue Palace in Solitude. The palace itself is impressive. Massive stone walls make it clear that it's not easy to destroy. It's perched high atop the archway, and there's only one way to reach the entrance. It can only be attacked from the front, so anyone looking to cause trouble has to make their way through the expansive city to get there. This setup provides solid external security. Inside, the vibe is spacious and inviting. To find the Jarl, you have to ascend some fancy stairs. The space is nice, but it lacks the warmth of a fire pit or a huge table filled with delicious food to showcase some luxury. The throne isn't particularly impressive, and it's not even positioned higher. On the left side, there are numerous bedrooms. This area is relatively private, but it still connects to the main hall, making it less isolated than it could be. The most hidden bedroom belongs to the Jarl. It's the largest and even has a section with wardrobes. There is no fireplace, which could be useful for keeping the place warmer. The next bedroom is smaller, but still cozy, with nice decorations. The following one is similar in size, but arranged differently. Perfect for someone who enjoys reading books. The last bedroom belongs to the wizard and features an enchanting table, but there is no alchemy lab. On the right side, there is simply a hallway without any rooms. However, you can go downstairs using another set of stairs on the left side, where there is one more sizable bedroom with 2 beds. At the end of the hallway is a huge, cozy kitchen that has a warm vibe. A large pantry connects to it, serving as the sleeping quarters for the chef and other servants, but their beds are the only low-quality ones in the palace. Let's head back to the hallway. I almost missed that we can go even lower. The stairs lead to a pretty spacious area with 3 luxurious beds. On the right side, there is another door leading to the Pelagius wing, but it requires a key. Once you unlock it, you find this really old, dusty space covered in spiderwebs, like it hasn't been touched in ages. The first floor feels like a dining room, with tables everywhere and what looks like a spot for a fireplace. There's even a boarded up door here, and of course, I had to look behind it. Turns out it's just a small hallway. The second floor has more of a tavern vibe, complete with a counter and plenty of tables. There's also a hallway with stairs leading to a door now covered by wooden boards. Behind it, there's a small space with tables. If you go even lower, you'll find an even bigger room filled with barrels and shelves, almost like an old pantry. So yeah, the whole Pelagius wing is completely unused and shut off so nobody can see it. But hey, everyone's got a little hidden mess somewhere, right? So, that's the whole building. I'm a bit surprised there's no fireplace outside the kitchen, no grand dining area, no alchemy lab, no guard barracks, and no prison or war council space. You'd think a prestigious place like this would have those features. The prison, war council room, and guard barracks are located in Castle Dower, which is quite a distance from the Blue Palace. Is the layout practical? I'd say so, as all the rooms are fairly close to each other. I'm actually surprised at how small the whole building feels compared to some of the other Jarl residences. How many guards are stationed here? There is one near the entrance, another by the main stairs, and 3 more upstairs, making 5 in total. That's not many, especially considering there are no dedicated guard barracks or a prison where more guards are typically found. Overall, the place has a welcoming and warm appearance. You can feel the authority, it's impressive. The layout is also very practical, and the bedrooms are likely the most comfortable among all the residences. While the external security is great, there is room for improvement inside. The number of guards is probably insufficient and there are no guard barracks. The lack of a prison can be both good and bad, depending on how you look at it. It's also the only Jarl's residence without a war council space inside. Even all the long houses have one. Additionally, the lack of a fire pit and alchemy table is a drawback. And there you have it. We've explored the diverse residences of Skyrim's Jarls. Each space has its unique features, strengths, and weaknesses. What do you think? Do you have your own opinions on their layouts and defenses? I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. Which residence is your favorite? If I were choosing based solely on appearance, overall feel and vibe, I'd definitely pick Dragon's Reach for its warm atmosphere. But considering everything we discussed, the Palace of the Kings seems to fit all the criteria best. I hope you enjoyed this journey through the Jarl's residences in Skyrim. Until next time, thanks for watching!